Good evening, everyone. Dr. Greg is here with you once again. Wherever you are, we hope that you are safe. We hope you are looking forward to the Christmas with the family. Calabar people who are in the house, glad to have you. We have a special guest today. So I just want all of you just continue to support him. For our new subscribers, if you like the content, please go ahead and share. I oftentimes say that without you and without your support, it is hard to do what we intend to do, which is to provide exposure for athletes, to give them a voice, to give them an expression where they can continue to do great things, and you can support them because you're up to the minute with what they do. I always wanted to talk with this gentleman, Christopher Taylor. You know, when I saw him run back in the days as a junior, I saw the fire in him. I saw a young man who was destined for greatness. And like everyone, we have our own trials and tribulation, but I am impressed with the way how he has managed to keep on moving forward. And those are the things champions are made of. I'm happy that he took the invitation to be on the show, and we are just going to go straight into the interview. But as I always say, when you come on this show, let's talk with Dr. Greg. It's never about me. It's about your story. So we're going to go straight into the introduction of young Christopher Taylor, and then we're going to go straight in the interview. If you have any question on screen that you want him to answer, feel free to do so. But let's go straight into the introduction, and then we go straight into the interview. Let's go.
Christopher Taylor, look out for him, a huge talent, age 21 from Jamaica.
Christopher Taylor, a young man who is destined to achieve greatness. A young man who is not a stranger to adversity. A young man who knows how to give his best effort when he's on the track and when it counts the most. Chris Taylor is also not a stranger to winning. As a youth, he dominated the Youth World Athletic Championships, the ISA Boys Championships, the Pan American Games and the Carifta Games Championships, and also the NACAC Championships. At the age of 16, Christopher Taylor won his first World Youth title with an impressive national youth record for Jamaica of 45.27. In 2017, Christopher won the Pan American Youth 200-meter title with another impressive time of 20.38 seconds, one of the fastest 200-meter time run by a Jamaican junior. In 2018, Christopher earned his first national senior title with another impressive performance and a national junior record of 44.88 seconds. In 2021 in Tokyo, Christopher made his first 400-meter Olympic final to finish 6th in a very fast and impressive finals. In 2022, the future looks bright for Chris. He has committed himself that he is prepared to train smart and wise in order to achieve his highest potential at the next World Championship. Therefore, it is with great pleasure that I welcome to the stage a young man who will never give up or settle for less. Put your hands together and let us welcome to the stage the Olympic finalist, Christopher Taylor. Hello, Christopher. How are you, sir?
I'm good, you?
Yes, I'm blessed. I'm so blessed. Thank you for accepting the invitation to be on Let's Talk with Dr. Greg. How is the background training coming along?
Well, training has been going well. just for this background season.
Mhm. I know for me, I used to hate the background season because I usually hate running those 600s and those 500s. How do you feel about the 600s and those 500s?
I mean, it's not my favorite thing to do, but I guess in the long run, it's gonna help me throughout the long season that I'm willing to have for this upcoming season. So I just have to get the work in. That's what I'm doing.
Mhm. You know, I have never met a 400-meter runner who would say, "Oh, I love those 600s. I love those 500s." So if you don't feel that way, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you won't be great. It means that you're all in the same category like us. We don't like it, but we do it because we know it's
Yeah.
a part of greatness. It is a custom on this platform, Chris, that before the actual interview starts, our guest gets a chance to shout out to whomever they please. You know, sometimes you have people who were there with you on the journey. Is there anyone you would like to acknowledge before we actually go into the interview?
Well, first and foremost, I have to thank God for being alive today to be on this interview. And I want to go acknowledge my parents for always supporting me. All my Calabar supporters and fans worldwide.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Well, some of us might know, but the audience, some people in the audience may not know. But tell us, what parish are you from, and did you grow up in that parish?
I'm from St. Catherine. Um, I left St. Catherine and moved to Kingston at the age of 12 years old to start high school,
Hmm.
and I've been there from then.
Okay, so what was life like for you, say, growing up in Kingston?
I mean, it was good. I love the exposure, the experience that I got from it, so I embraced it, and I'm loving it now. So I'm just keep on living and enjoy myself.
Okay, I grew up in Seaview Gardens for the most part, you know, and it was rough for me because I had to fend for myself, and I know that growing up in Kingston, it gives us a certain drive that help us to have that level of determination to keep on pushing through. Did you find that your environment growing up in Kingston helped you to have that toughness, that determination, to just know that like you take on these 500 is just a part of, and it's just another day in the office?
Well, first I started growing up in Portmore, so taking the bus back and forth to school from training, that had helped to get some mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Riddle's Garden and lived there for a few years until I finished high school. But I think what helped the most during that stage, I would say, is just the bar life, the
Mm-hmm.
Calabar lifestyle. That's what helped me to overcome all those difficulties that I would have had growing up in Kingston because I learned everything at
Mm-hmm.
Calabar, like everything, school wise, street wise, I learned everything there, and I think that's what helping me throughout my life right now also.
Hmm. And that's why I respect the Calabar family, even though I did not attend Calabar. Herb McKinley was very dear to me. So even though I sometimes want to, well, I am a son of Herb because I have great respect for what he established over at Calabar. Um, I want you to think back at the earliest time. Who and what would you say inspired you to start running track and field?
Um, that's a good question. Um, Growing up, I wasn't a big fan of track and field. I mean, I used to watch it, what you saying, Asafa and all these, but the way I got to start track and field, it's quite weird. I started and I did well the first year, went back to get exposure to go to Kingston again the second year, and then from then everything took off.
Mm-hmm.
My coach used to motivate me in my final year primary school to do it was Asafa because we grew up in the same community. with Asafa. We went to the same basic school, went to the same primary school. So growing up, he was my inspiration coming straight up. So I think that's what inspired me the most to really do track and field.
Hmm. Okay. Well, like when you talk about Asafa, we have to get him on the show too because, for the thing I love with Asafa is that he has inspired a whole generation of young people
That's
who
right.
can make the connection. What basic school and primary school was actually that?
We attend Yearton Basic School,
Okay.
and then we went on to attending the Yearton Primary School.
Okay. Well, one thing I would like to know, because when I was younger, I used to run everywhere. And there are some little races that I used to win that some of them stick out. Can you tell me or tell us one of the most famous race you would say you won? Say whether it is in basic school or primary school that helped to shape your belief in the fact that you're good enough.
Um, that's a good one. I wish that I won. I think in grade six, my primary champs, the 200 with Tyreek Wilson. Um, it was a very tough race, and I came out victorious at the end of the day. So I think that drove me to pursue doing track and field at the next level, which is high school.
Mm. Well, as you talk about high school, of all the high school in St. Catherine and Kingston and the St. Andrew area, why did you choose Calabar?
Um, that's a good question. So in grade five, when I just started track and field, my coach had brought me to champs that year, and to tell you the truth, I went in full purple because purple is one of my favorite colors. Which to this day, purple is one of my favorite colors. But during that time, I was supposed to attend St. Jago High School.
Mhm,
St. Jago all the way come to grade six. St. Jago. But when the Calabar management team came, the love and the support that they had for me as a youth growing up, and
mhm,
the stuff that they were doing behind the scenes or helping me personally and stuff that
mhm,
drove me to go to Calabar. And then she took they took me up, the management team took me up and started showing me a better life, started treat me like I'm one of her child. And then I decided that I'm going to Calabar, and then I
mhm,
just been there from then.
mhm. So even at Calabar, you still like purple.
Yeah, yeah.
When it comes, I ask the question because when it comes to boys champs, the green and the purple just don't see eye to eye. So I know it took a lot of courage for you to say, look, I still like purple. It's a good thing. Well, Akeem Bloomfield is training with you too, so I know the purple and the color bar. I know some days you're gonna feel like it's between the KC and the color bar, which is good rivalry. I like that.
Yeah, that's
One
good.
of, mm, One of the things I like with Calabar is that they develop their athletes' minds early in their preparation. They are trained to win. Calabar athletes are conditioned to win. What was the level of discipline like for Calabar? For people who on the outside who don't know, could you share with us since you have that lived experience? What was the discipline like in Calabar?
The discipline level when we went to Calabar was a game. When I went to Calabar, the captain was Damar. We used to call him Squiddy, and then his co-captain was um Mad Max. So they drove discipline in us as we entered the school, especially like on December camp when we were there as a group. They like teach us discipline, and then one of the main coach that was behind it, who was the most disciplined coach up to this day, was Mr. Julian, right? So the stuff that they used to do and they taught us through training, through the camp, and all of that. it's just like a winning mindset. Like they poison you to a winning mindset. So no matter what the case may be, you're just looking to win. So no matter how good the championship is going or bad the championship is going, or whoever is in the race with you, you just have the winning mindset to go out there and do what it takes to produce for your school to come out victorious at the end of the day. So I think that that's where the discipline came in with those guys teaching us. And even when I was leaving Calabar, I had taught a lot of persons the same thing. So it's like a generation passing down to generation, and that's what we love the most.
Mm, excellent. You know, I really think that it when you teach athletes how to win, it's a good thing because it if you do it early, it becomes a part of who the athlete becomes and they want more. But the mind is most important to me. I find that when it's about to execute the qualities of a champion, and I think that is what Calabar instill in their athletes at that young age. At the 2015 Carifta Games, Chris, you won the race in a championship record time of 46.64. Invite us into your thoughts, and I want you to share with us, Chris, what was your state of mind going into that race? How nervous were you? And were you confident of the win, knowing that you put in the work to come out on top?
I mean, that season I had already run 45, but that was my first international race. The prelims was really tough. I came second in the prelims or first, I don't remember, but yeah, it was a close prelims. And then in the final, the Trinidad guy had a faster time going in. He was way bigger than me, so yeah, I was really nervous, nerve-wracking because it's the first time running overseas, so I didn't know what to expect. I was just saying, yo, I'm just gonna run like I normally do, get out, go, catch me if you can. And that's the mindset I did, and I went out there and came out victorious at the end of the day.
Mhm. Well, it was an impressive time, and it goes to show that when we look at your overall history, you are consistent in terms of championship. And this is why I personally believe that you will continue to dominate once you stay focused and do what you're supposed to do at the professional level. I saw also in Cali, Colombia, I had good luck when I went to Cali, Colombia. I won my first CAC title there. And I saw too that you also performed well in Cali, Colombia because you were in excellent form. And if my memory served me well, also in 2015 in Cali, Colombia, you won the World Youth Championship in a time of 45:27 seconds, which was also one of the record for Jamaica. Tell us, what was the culture like in terms of the support for the athletes there in Cali, Colombia?
Well, the support was really good. The management team was on point. It's just that when we were entering into World Junior day here, World Youth, sorry. Most of the guys had stopped training from before, so the entire Jamaica team didn't go there as prepared as they were supposed to be. But the management team and the coaching staff was doing the best that they can. So the support system was high. And as you know, Jamaica as a nation is going to support you regardless once you're representing the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's what drove me to do what I did. I mean, we were having troubles getting medals and stuff, and I decided that I'm going to medal and I'm going to take the gold medal home for my country. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. And it's good because, as I said, during my time too, I usually see a lot of things happening around me, and these things could have been distractions. But in your case, you took the misfortune in some ways where people were losing their level of focus and you maintain the ability to focus. How did you develop that mindset in terms of seeing everything around you? People are complaining, but you're still able to stay focused, go out there and get the task done.
Well, knowing me from I was a tender age, I'm a person that just believe in whatever I want, I'm going to achieve as long as I put the work in. I know that entire season I've been training hard, I've been putting in the work. So all I needed to do was just to go out there, execute, and I'll be victorious. I know the race would have been a super fast race, but I just had to keep the focus. I did all the training already, so it wasn't a matter of me training or not. I did all of that months ago, so it's just me to go and execute a proper race, and that's what I did.
Mhm. I like that mindset. That's really the mind of a champion. In 2016, you ran an extraordinary race at the ISA Boys and Girls Championship, breaking the national record. You were a class two then, but your performance helped Calabar to win their seventh consecutive championship at the Boys and Girls Championship. In your own words, what were two of the main factors that made you so overwhelmingly successful that year, 2016?
Um, sure that was 2016 or 20, that's was 2018. That was
2018.
2018. Yeah, that was 2018.
Okay,
Yeah,
go
that
ahead.
was 2018. So that year, I I had a major setback in 2016, so I used that major setback to go 2017 to do really good. I did that at end of 2017 on a personal best in the 200, so I used that motivation to come over into 2018, and I keep pushing, training hard, hard, hard. I train super hard out here because um I know what I wanted. I wanted to have the national junior record and national senior record for the 400. I had the youth record already, so I'm saying, yo, I'm gonna put in this work. I had a major setback that here because I was having um muscle issues. Like I was getting tired once I'm running the 400, so I wasn't able to run a lot of reps to be fit for the four. So I'm like, coach, train me for the two, and I did that. Um, But I think what caused most of those stuff is just, as I said before, the mindset that I have and the
Hmm.
team I have working around me that is always there to support me and give me the strength when I need it. And
Hmm.
that's a key factor in my success through the high school days.
Yes, and I really hope that more athletes can listen to what you're saying, because the support that you get will determine how far you go. That's one of the
Yeah.
things I find, especially when you are a professional. Chris, when I started to perform well in high school, I can tell you at Excelsior that the girls started to find me interesting. Once you start running fast, people start to look your way. Did you experience any of that when you were at Calabar? Because if so, we really want to know how you were able to manage the girls and still stay focused in training.
Well, I had a lot of that even before I started running super fast, just by the fact that I was gonna go to Calabar before even in super fast at Calabar. That was coming my way, but I think my second mother, she had grew me right and taught me how to handle those situations and stuff. And even when I had problems and stuff like getting out of line with school or girl, she would always be there to put me in line and say, yo, this is the main focus. I'm not saying you should not do this or that, but this is the main focus. Get your shit together. And as I said, the support that you have around you determine what you do and how you do
Mhm.
always.
So, do you find that a lot of young talented athletes like yourself, that they fall prey to, especially the girl situation? Because I remember at one point I started to cut practice. I don't know why I did it, but you find somebody that you think interested, and you start to take practice here and there, which it is something that I too find that even in college it affects some of our talented athletes to stay focused. But do you find that some of your friends were victims to this?
I mean, we all are victims. I am victim for skipping practice, going to have a to see girl. Um, but I wised up a few years later. Like mom taught me, like grade nine, mom taught me say, "Yo, you go to have a early, but guess what? Make sure you're back in the afternoon at training to put in the work, no matter what." So I use that to go forward. So I now when at school over, I'm out after three, and then by four, I'm back at Calabar to do practice. So now I'm gonna get back at Calabar on a Friday evening to train with the senior guys at that time,
Hmm.
right? So that's my way of getting away back then. But I mean, we are a victim to that. But yeah, I think it's a major thing in Jamaica as per society and even the college system with Jamaicans. They get distracted by females a lot, and it doesn't help them to stay super focused with their training or either their schoolwork and get them off the path that they are supposed to be going. And sometimes I wish that some of the athletes, especially at Calabar, had the mindset like I did because I was the I was the key
Hmm.
to all of that. I channel my energy in this
Hmm.
and channel my energy into that. I wish
Hmm.
some of them had the same mindset as me.
Hmm. Well, since we are on the topic then of focus, peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure, it has been and still is a crippling factor for many athletes not reaching their highest potential. How do you deal with peer pressure, like real peer pressure when you were in high school?
Peer pressure to me is like nothing. Like I overcome peer pressure so easy. Like every Calabar athlete should be good um with handling peer pressure from every handle because at school that's all you get peer pressure, peer pressure, peer. We're going to all boys school, so you know it's pressure every day. As you reach the school before and as you leave, it's just pressure. So every athlete should be good enough to handle peer pressure. I mean, I can handle pressure in whatever situation, and
Hmm.
that's just me naturally. I can handle
Hmm.
pressure, I can give pressure. So
Hmm.
peer pressure didn't affect me at all.
So even as a professional athlete now, you deal with peer pressure in a similar way.
Yeah, I do. But at the end of the day, as a professional athlete, you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. So you need to embrace the bad days until you turn it into all good days.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's
Well, makes
just
sense.
a phase.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Remarkable is a word that comes to mind based on your overall achievements in high school and what you have done now. In 2019, you amassed roughly 14 goals, 6 silver, 1 bronze. You were the man to beat in 2019, Chris. In your final year of high school, you did not perform up to expectation of the nation, and as a result, you did not retain your Class 1 400-meter title. Share with us what happened that year in 2019.
So in 2019, I was in, let's say, the best form of my entire life, heading into Boys and Girls Championship, like no cap, the best form my entire life. Um, the East for the 200, I was feeling super good. Went out there, was just doing enough to qualify for the 200 semifinal, and I got injured. Um, was really bad injured. My coach wanted to pull me. Michael wanted to pull me from the championship,
Mhm.
but I'm like I can manage, and it's okay. I'm gonna pull you from the 200, but the way they set up the Jamaican system, if you're doing two events at the championship and you pull out of one too early, you're gonna pull out of the entire championship. So what I did, I just had to do enough to get through to to the 400 finals, and I decided that I'm only going to run the 400 final. I am not coming nothing less than first or second. I'm like, I started, wasn't going to chance with a silver medal. I don't have a problem leaving with a silver medal. Everything is between that was gold, so I'm good. And that's what I
Mhm.
did.
Mhm. Hindsight is better than 2020. When I was at Excelsior, I too was faced with running my 3 years in class one. My second year, I made the decision to leave and take a scholarship overseas. And for many reasons, it wasn't just one thing. If you had the chance to go back and change your decision, would you have decided to stay an extra year, or would you have decided to forego?
I would have go, but I would never go back on decisions I make to do with my career because I think it's what is best for me. I
Mhm.
thought about it hard and long enough to know that hey, this is the wrong decision you're making or this is the right decision you're making. So I don't think I've made a wrong move thus far in my careers yet.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Mhm. This question is a bit on the sensitive side, Chris, but I would love to hear your side. It was said that you had an altercation with a teacher while attending Calabar. Is there anything you want to say on this matter?
I mean, it was an unfortunate event. But the stuff that was said that I was did, all of them was false accused. Um, but I think all of it came from student driving to school, because that's where all of it start from. Me and DJ driving to school, some teachers didn't like it. So some of them didn't like us. They're saying that we acting like trap boys. They run the school. So that was the issue.
Mhm.
But whatever was said up to this day, they haven't proved me that I was innocent because I didn't have any altercation with the teacher.
Mhm.
All was said is that listen, I can enter the classroom because I'm a sixth form student. This is a sixth form classroom. He came on our camp, took up our stuff, disrespect the head coach, saying that he is this and that and just disrespecting the track boys and we're done and stuff.
Mhm.
And the coach asked me to go and take back our beds up to our camp. But I had to rush down there early because um the other boys from my camp had went down there to went in on them, so I had to stop them, right? And then all I said, let me check the beds and stuff, and he was just being disrespectful. Um, he put his hand on me, but I didn't hit him because if I had hit him, then it would mean that I would have got upset. I have serious anger issues. And if I
Mhm.
had hit him, then the entire track and field, the track team would have came down on everybody in the class.
Mhm.
The
Understand.
school know and understand that nothing went wrong. The police came the night when he called and said, yo, we attacked them, and the police left said nothing happened because he was lying.
Mhm.
So I'm surprised that a few months later, all of this came up and saying that I did this and I did that and I choked him and I thumped. Like if I did none of that, it would have been out already. It would have shown.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's an unfortunate event, and I mean it's a learning process. But it is what it is. I mean it's still hindering me from getting certain sponsors and
Mhm.
affecting my professional career. But I'm just taking everything step by step
Mhm.
and praying that in the long run everything will come to good.
Okay. Well, my thing is, I appreciate you taking the time to talk about it. Um, at least there is one more evidence to hear your side of the story, because sometimes when these things happen, people quick to follow and buy into the rumor. So you said it out of your mouth. It's not the first time you speak on the matter this way, and we can put it to closure to say that I believe you, and I'm sure those who were there and your fans and everybody believe what you said, because you made it absolutely clear. If you had done this, there would have been evidence to support what he said. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so I appreciate you taking the time to talk about that part of your life. You know, Chris, you performed exceptionally well in high school. You could have done anything you wanted to do. You could have take the option to get a scholarship overseas. You could get a scholarship in Jamaica. Why did you decide to go professional right out of high school?
I think this has to do with me learning everything about track and field. Like, if I go to college, I'm gonna run super fast. But if I run super fast in college, that means I'm not gonna be getting paid, right? So I'm like, okay, I can do school anytime. I can start school on my own without taking a scholarship, being a professional, still get the same degree. But if I go to college and be earning super fast in college, I won't be getting paid like I'm supposed to be getting paid if I'm professional. So I decided, yo, I'm going professional. I'm going to go school part time, and I'm going to still have the same degree. I'm going to make more money faster
Mm-hmm.
than wait until after school, go professional, then I'm gonna be getting like 25, 26 there about when um I'm be earning too much or I'm not getting paid for how much years already. So I decided, yo, I'm going straight professional and go school part time.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. You know, especially now we find where the universities now are paying is not fully in effect yet, but they will be paying athletes who want to promote themselves and still in college. So that makes sense. It's we go to school to make the money. You made the decision that it would best to go straight into the pros and then go back to school at some point. That's a good way of looking at it. You leave high school and you go straight into the pros. I've always said that one of the most challenging journey for any athlete, especially those who leave high school and go straight into the pros, or even those who are in college and go into the pros, that there are difficulties in terms of the transition. I heard you talk about some of the challenges that you face. I want to hear it from you on this show. What were some of the challenging challenges you were faced with when you decided to make the transition from high school into the pros?
Well, one of the problems that I face is just adjusting to living overseas, living on my own, training right around the clock, more dedicated, more serious training like gym sessions and stuff like that. So those are the most difficult stuff. But other than that, I was good. Like trust me, I'm good. Um, Mostly because of the persons that I'm around, like Christian Taylor, Adam Jamili, and those persons. Like they looked out for me like a little brother. So they helped me a lot in my transition. I didn't have any bad time training with them, and I think that's what helped me to overcome all the challenges that I should have had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. You ran a few races after you made the decision to go pro, and it was obvious to me that mainly because of an injury that was it was stated that because of an injury that you took some time off, you got healed and everything. But one of the things I find that when a person is on the journey, the mental strength is going to be the key factor in the journey if the athlete wants to be great. What was it like when you were trying to find back your form? How did you cope during those times after you made the transition and had to deal with the injuries and then now see that the future still looked bright? What was it like? Because sometimes people see the good stuff, they see you bounce back from whatever adversity you were with, but they really don't know some of those lonely days when you now have to have that discussion with yourself. So let your fans and the audience know what was it like struggling to find form during those difficult times.
It was a really rough road. I should say I had days when I go to training, I'm just out of it completely because I'm saying, yo, I don't know what I'm training for. And then social media has a lot to do with it also when person is saying, yo, he's done his brand away from high school and all those stuff. But I was mentally and physically tough, so I could have overcome whatever they were saying. I had a good team behind me, helping me to overcome whatever challenges I was facing, and then my coach was the best at helping me to overcome all of these challenges. But I would say the major one I had wasn't with training, but it was getting on the level to compete
Mm-hmm.
as a professional athlete should compete. That was the toughest part because training was going good. But once I'm out there to compete, like
Mm-hmm.
everything is going upside down. I'm not finding this race rhythm for the 400. I'm not finding it for the 200. And I think that I was struggling the entire season that I passed, 21 season for the Olympic. I was struggling with finding um good race rhythm. That was my biggest struggle.
Mm-hmm.
But my coach said, "Don't worry about it. It will come in time.
Mm-hmm.
It will come." So I just trust the coach process and what he said because he's seeing what I'm doing in training. He's giving me what he knows is best for me to
Mm-hmm.
perform at my best. So I just trust the process and work with him. That's what I did.
Mm-hmm. And that makes sense. Eh, you now can compare high school, the mindset that you had then, pro for 2 years, and the mindset. What do you find to be the major difference between the mindset that you had when you were in high school compared to the mindset that you have now in your developing years as a pro?
So for me, high school was all fun and joy. Like get up in the morning, go to school, after school, training, back home, schoolwork, just one regular routine. In professional, it's a whole different mindset. I had to learn like getting up in the morning, making sure I had the right breakfast to go to training, make sure I'm not overdoing anything in training. I have to do just what I have to do to get the extra work in. Then the mindset to know that yo after training I have to go do a gym. Then after gym I have to make sure I eat a good meal to replace whatever I worked out. I have to make sure I'm resting properly and stuff like that. Those are the main factors that makes everything different because in high school I was just like going through the motion because I was so talented in high school also. So I know that me training and stuff wasn't wasn't taking a lot, especially during high school championship. Like after like March when the champs normally go. After that, I'll be super focused because yo, I'm going up against professional athletes now, so I have to be more focused. Make sure I'm not doing anything extra to let me be tired. I have to make sure I'm resting properly. So I kind of have that mindset throughout high school growing up, but not as I have it now. Like now, I'm super focused in whatever I do, making sure I'm on a good diet, making sure I'm resting properly, and all of those stuff.
Mhm. So it would be fair to say that the difference between the average athlete and the great athletes is basically mindset, because you're making it known that even though you were good in high school, you find that it takes a different mindset. And for you to get to that next level, you will have to get that mindset even
Yeah.
at a higher level.
Yes, that's right.
I am confident that you, Christopher Taylor, have a lot to show the world to earn your place among the greats. You have been a seasoned professional for 2 years now. What else would you say that you have learned so far that will make you a greater athlete in the coming future?
What I've learned so far, one of the main major thing that I have learned so far as a professional athlete is that, as I said before, not every day is gonna go in your favor. So some days are gonna be bad, some days are gonna be good. It's just a matter of you taking the bad days and move
Mm-hmm.
on, like, and just live every day for each day.
Mm-hmm.
Live for today, then you live for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they use. And I use a blind eye, turn a blind eye every bad situation, like every bad energy that's gonna draw my energy to not be focused on what I want and what I should be doing. I turn
Mm-hmm.
a blind eye to all those stuff, and I think that's what was standing for me. Even with
Mm-hmm.
my coach, I seen it, and I'm like, coach, I'm not here to play. I know what I can do, and I know what I want, and I'm going for it.
Mm-hmm. I like that mindset, Chris. I think that is the mind of a champion. I am sure that you have learned a lot more when you sit down and you think about it. And you have said it on the show that even though you achieve great things, talent alone is never enough to get you to achieve everything that you set out to achieve. But it's also about the team of people that you have around you, those individuals who are able to manage the talent, those individuals who are able to guide you along the way. You made your first Olympic final in Tokyo, which was very good, very, very good. What type of support did it take to help you to accomplish this? Because sometimes people see you out there doing your thing, they have no clue as to the type and the level of support that it took for you to be able to perform so well. Tell the audience what type of support it took for you.
Well, for me, just the regular support is just showing that you love me and you're cheering for me in whatever place or position I came in, whatever. Just show me that you respect me for what I am doing, and not saying, yo, I'm supporting you, but you're not showing no support. That's a no for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I have a set of persons in my life who really support me, like, no joke, just support me nonstop. Even when I'm having bad days, they still like say, yo, I believe in you, you can do this, get over with it, let's go. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those type of persons I always love to have around me, and I have a lot of them, I must say, so I embrace them and move on with my life
Mm-hmm.
each and every day.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, excellent. Um, as a past Olympian myself, Chris, I am aware that there are some important traits that champions must have, or else he or she will be the average person. And you can tell that your development from high school to now, it's way more advanced. But you also know that in order to get there where you can dominate your event, that you have to take it to a higher level. There are a few traits that I personally am talking about right now. In order for any athlete to to perform that great, there are some things. Sacrifice, that is one thing. Commitment is another. Dedication is another. And determination. We must have that if we are to be great. Some at least we find are slaves to what we talked about earlier, the girls. We find that some athletes are slaves to parties, some are slaves to the drugs. My question to you is, because when I see them do these things, I see it as a big waste of time and very counterproductive to what they initially set out to achieve. Tell us, how much are you willing to sacrifice to unleash the champion in you at this level, the professional level?
At this point, I've been sacrificing everything that I need to sacrifice to get where I am. So whatever it takes, that I have to do to get to that level, I'm going to do it because, as you said, determination. I'm super determined to get at that level, and I know I'm going to get there someday. So it's just a matter of me being patient and not rushing the process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking things step by step, but trust me, I sacrifice a lot of stuff. I've sacrificed from not being in Jamaica with my family. That's the biggest sacrifice I made. But guess what? At the end of the day, I have to do what I have to do what I have to do to get where I want to be. So I'm
Mhm.
doing that.
Mhm. And that too makes sense. I am looking at some of the questions here, and I'm going to ask you a few because you have some people in the audience now. They're just eager to want to know 100 and 200. Which one should he run? You are very good at anyone. I think you can be the best if you condition your mind. You ran 10-1 in high school, right? You run 20 point low in the 200 meter. You run 44.8 in high school. Which one of the events you think you are better at? And do you think you will settle with the 400 meter now, or do you intend to change sometime in the future?
I mean, I'm definitely going to change in the long run, but it's just a matter of me building confident, going professional, um, getting back to where I should be in the competing level,
Mm-hmm.
being stronger, faster, fitter, get more muscle mass to hold the speed. And I'm definitely going to be doing more 200s this season. So I'm going to take up the 2-4 more this season just to boost everything to get the right form for the 4. Then as soon as I get the national record out the way, I'm going to sprint it for sure. But
Mm-hmm.
my coach said I shouldn't rush the process. He has my back, so I just need to do what I have to do right now
Mm-hmm.
to achieve my goals that I set for myself at the moment, and then everything will fall in place in the long run. So
Mm-hmm.
don't trust the process.
Makes sense. So, what does the future hold for Chris right now? I know for me, I never like to talk about expectations, but it sounds that you're very confident about who you are, the sacrifices that you have to make, you are making now, the team of people that you have around you that can help to guide you. 2022, we are looking towards the World Championships. There's no pressure here, but what are some personal goals that you have for yourself coming into the 2022 season?
Well, for the 22 season, my major goals for this season is a new personal best in the 200 meter and a new personal best, of course, in the 400 meter. And if I go to run a 100 meter, I'm definitely going for personal best in the 100 meter also. So for now, those are my major goals, and whatever event I represent my country
Mm-hmm.
in Eugene, I am definitely aiming to make the finals for either event, 1, 2, or 4. I'm definitely aiming to make the finals.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chris, I personally think you can go all the way. I think physically you have demonstrated to the world, not just in high school, that you are capable to be the best. You have done it. I've never seen another junior athlete dominate the junior championships the way you did. You came up from a junior, you won your first senior championship in 2018. My final question for you before I get you out of here. What are some of the biggest challenges you are faced with looking in the future? And how do you intend to deal with some of these potential issues that might come your way? Final question, and you're out of here.
I mean, I'm not thinking just far, but challenges that I'm going to face in the future. I'm really focused on the challenges I'm facing now to get to that next barrier of my life. So I'm just taking things one step at a time. I'm not thinking too far ahead of the future, that the challenges that I'm going to have down the road. I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about that what I'm doing now, what I need to do to get onto the next level. So I'm taking things step by step, as I said before. No rush.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you coming on this show, Chris. The door is always open anytime you want a voice or you want to speak your own voice. This show will always open for you. as a past 400-meter runner, I will support you because I see that we have a lot in common in terms of we love our family, we want the best for our family, and we determine and will continue to push on through until we achieve our goals. Is there anything you want to say before we close tonight?
No, not really. Just for my fans out there that keep on supporting me, and I'll always make you proud. Once I'm healthy, I'm going to make you guys proud in the near future.
Thank you very much for coming, Christopher Taylor. It is a pleasure. You hear the man speak. The man said, continue to support him. We want you to support him in good and bad times. He has proven himself, and he, without a doubt, is one of our best 400-meter runners. So continue to support him. I don't want to hear the negativity. Just let him know that he has loyal Jamaicans and even Americans who are willing to follow him. Thank you very much, Chris, for coming, and may God continue to bless and keep you and your family safe. Thank you. So you hear it from Christopher Taylor. The man said it all. Very humble young man, very knowledgeable young man, a man who is destined for greatness. He has exemplified the mind of a champion. It is a pleasure and was a pleasure and will always be a pleasure to talk to our young champion athletes. Continue to support him. And thank you again for your support, because without your support, it would be impossible to even have a Christopher Taylor on this platform. Thank you all for coming. May God continue to bless and keep you all safe. I am Dr. Gregory Horton. Have a blessed day.